Everybody, thanks for joining. We're so happy that you joined this virtual awareness event. My name is Penny, and I'm an officer with Camp True Light. Camp True Light is a faith-based nonprofit organization with a purpose to serve those who have fallen victim to human trafficking. It's to provide a safe place for children who have fallen victim to start their healing in a family-style setting while their physical and mental needs are being met. We're very dedicated to spreading awareness and prevention techniques in communities. And tonight, our team has partnered up with our good friends Preying on Predators in hopes to shine some light in the darkness. I'm thankful for this opportunity to share some important information with you about human trafficking, online predators, and trauma bonding. Health awareness t-shirts, and both teams will be available for questions at the end of the event. If you'd like to be entered in the raffle, please add your name to the registration link that's being posted on social media chats. So, with so many of us hear human trafficking, we think about that coyote that's moving people illegally across borders. Human smuggling. Human trafficking is the buying, selling, trading of a person for sex or labor and of goods, service, or money to profit another with little to no compensation to the victim. Victims' participation is through manipulation, lies, tricks, fraud, force, guilt, and shame. On the streets, human trafficking is known as the life or the game. They're known as the players. Victims that are under a control of a trafficker is called the family or a stable. Victims become property, so much so that the traffickers will brand their stable of victims. They brand them with tattoos. That particular trafficker, it could be a crown, a dollar sign, it could be the trafficker's initials. One of the most popular is the barcode, and that's because this signifies this person can be bought or sold. Not allowed to make eye contact with other people, and especially not another trafficker on the streets. If they do, that trafficker can take possession of that victim. Traffickers live by a motto, and it is MOE. MOE means money over everything. We have more people enslaved today than ever before in history. Think that human trafficking is only an international problem. But did you know the United States is one of the worst countries for human trafficking? The US is the #1 consumer of commercial paid sex. 5% of all child pornography comes from the US. US Department of Justice did a study, and they found that 83% of the sex trafficking victims in the United States were US citizens. Found that 77% of the victims were trafficked by someone they know. Many times when we think about sex trafficking, we think about all the young girls. 45% of the sex trafficking victims in the United States are boys. Human trafficking is happening in cities, suburbs, and rural areas. And in fact, traffickers are targeting rural, small town areas with confidence because they know that people don't believe it's happening in their community. And they are able to hide in plain sight. Patients that are used for sex trafficking are illicit massage businesses, online pornography, residents, hotel, motel-based, and interstate. And yourself, men, women, and children be trafficked. This means that it's anyone that is forced into commercial sex. And it is any time a minor is paid for sex. It is trafficking. It is anyone that works for little to no pay. It's these people that are working to pay off a very high debt. The debt is set so high that it's impossible for them to work off. It means that anyone can be a trafficker. And when we start to let go our misconceptions about trafficking, we're able to look at situations and see the truth. Victims are revealed and traffickers are exposed. This crime is so evil, it is completely hidden in darkness. There are victims all around us, and we can't see them. Their voices are silent. There are many players in the life, and sadly, it is someone's job to lie, trick, and entrap new victims. One of the ways that they approach is through online deception. Tonight, we have Lexi here with Preying on Predators to talk to us about online predators and dangers and how to keep yourself safe. Welcome, Lexi.
Hey, thank you, Penny, and thank you so much for having my team here. It really means a lot to us. My name is Lexi. I'm the owner-operator of Pop Global, which stands for Preying on Predators. I have Stephanie here with me today, and she's going to be speaking as well. What we do is we combat online child predators who solicit and groom our children through the use of social media. Our objective with this seminar is to empower parents with the tools to protect your children. I don't believe Stephanie's mic's on. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and speak for her. She's going to speak, but I think she's having technical difficulties.
I got it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's no white van driving around the block that parents can tell kids to watch out for. Right now, these guys are getting into your home without even kicking in the door. They're sitting in their living room talking to your child.
We have a team of decoys of adult women and men who pretend to be minors. We construct our alter egos online. We use either our own photos or ones from family members whom we have written consent. Grooming techniques, they can vary. We need the next slide, yeah. They'll lie about their age. They say they just want to be friends or say you're like a daughter to them. The predator will often say that they'll wait till the child is 18. They'll say things like, send me a picture or whatever you're comfortable with. They even use religion as a grooming technique, as we have seen in one of our recent busts.
Dealing with online predators is best done through the criminal justice system, but police can't focus all the resources on sex crimes. And what we can do by posting alleged offenders' identities online has an immediate effect. You just don't know what might happen tomorrow. Putting their faces out there is the second best thing. In the end, whether someone is arrested and convicted isn't that important. Our goal is administering street justice, not shying away from the term. The goal is that a guy walks around the street and people know who he is. Public humiliation is the next best option to an arrest.
So we have some slides coming up with some of our conversations that we have with them. Some viewers might find the conversations disturbing, but we do feel like you need to see them. You may not agree with our tactics, but it has proven to be effective for us.
Take a look at some of these chats to get a gist of what we see. In this first chat, you see how the alleged pedophile states, I want a wife of legal consent. However, he keeps talking. You will see later on in one of our live busts more of this specific case.
Okay, well, on this next chat that we're about to show you, we blocked out the name because we are currently working with law enforcement and we can't go public with him yet. But here again, you can see that we state our age. I mean, they try to teach you sex, masturbation. It's a huge thing that we run into. They get off on being like your teacher or somebody that can, you know, be your parental figure in your life.
On this next chat, this predator repeatedly mentions sex, drugs, and the worst, wanting this child to carry his own baby.
All right. Next slide.
It is on the slide.
Okay. Now on this one, Richard was clearly lying about his age and we knew it. And in this pic, you can clearly tell that he's not 15. You know, our decoys are in no way easy on these guys. We're not sweet and begging for attention. As you can see, we're usually pretty rude. I act naive a lot of the times, but we try to keep an attitude so it doesn't seem like we're flirtatious in any type of way or leading them on. However, that still does not stop them from trying.
Now you see how this pedophile wants to get the child drugged and have sex. We move into a case that shocked us all. We have never ran across a guy like this, Mitch Bray from Eunice, Louisiana. He used the Bible to attempt to win over our decoy. On this slide, you see he sent the child fake legal documents that he found online to convince the child this was legal, when it's clearly not.
Mitch Bray sent the child multiple screenshots of his prophecies that he wanted the child to run by. He had a room set up in his home, which was absolutely disgusting, which he showed pictures of, and we were on a video chat with him, so we got to see his whole house. The room was set up as a child's room for his princess, or his young wife.
In the video you're about to see is of a man we spoke about earlier, Mitch Bray. In this section of the video, Mitch gave a tour of his house. The full video is on our webpage and Facebook page. This first bit is a segment where the decoy, who again is a grown adult, talks to Mitch. He openly admits what he wants and how, again, he believes this is legal. The second part of the video clip is of an exposure. This is where our decoy says she is not a child. You will hear in the decoy's voice how this man using God really got to us, as we are Christians. The volume may be hard to hear as Mitch speaks quietly.
It doesn't matter if I suffered like that. God's really forgiving, but he is very vocal in the Bible about his children. And I'm talking about his precious ones. So you don't feel like there's anything wrong with talking to me at my age. I'm not your age. And I need you to answer me on that.
No problem. As long as everybody trusts in me. That's why you're supposed to be friendly. Okay?
I have prayed about it.
Okay. What do you feel?
Do you want to know the truth?
Yeah, sure.
Well, the truth is, I prayed about it really hard, and what God told me is this whole thing is probably really wrong. And it's wrong because it's illegal.
Well, it's only legal unless you go to a court system like I showed you. You know?
You don't think that this makes God mad?
I don't think so at all.
I think I feel different about this.
Let's not do this. Let's not do anything that God say. That God
Here is enough. And grooming a child through God is disgusting. And you're not talking to a 13-year-old child. You're actually talking to a 28-year-old woman right now. And I have been watching you. And I hope you know that everybody else has got to know your name and your face. And they heard from your own mouth that you thought you were talking to a 14-year-old.
Well, I'm just telling you that I don't know how God can protect. I just know
Oh yeah, because the blood pumping through my veins right now says that God is really angry with you for trying to take a child and groom her and tell her that she needs to cook and clean and do all this crap for you. And you can't take care of your kids who aren't even your kids or something. I don't know what's going on with your wife. But let me tell you something. Your whole entire freaking life is about to crash down on you, and I'm going to show everybody in your church, your family, because I know everything about you right now. And they're all about to know about you. What you mean, all right? Yeah, that's what I feel. And don't you ever use God's name in vain like that again. Because I am a Christian, and it made me infuriated every single time I had to see you talk about, let's pray about it. A 14-year-old child praying about marrying you? You're 60. You're 60. And if you say that you have this prophecy that you're supposed to have some young wife, it's not a 14-year-old. And I highly freaking doubt that you're going to get blessed with a wife at all. point.
I understand what you're saying.
Fun fact.
So people can say, you know, hey, that's my neighbor. Hey, he's my mailman. He's a school cop, a fireman sometimes. It could be your brother, your father, your mother. It isn't just strangers. You never expect who could be targeting your child. 86% of a child abuse victim is perpetrated by a parent. 86% of teen girls ages 12 to 17 conduct online chats without parents knowing in the sexual nature. 98% of 17-year-olds state their parents have no idea what they do online. 48% of tweens between the ages of 12 and 17 admit they have been approached in a sexual manner online. The largest group of internet porn consumers is children, both boys and girls, ages 12 to 16. 70% of kids 8 to 10 have encountered pornography online. And by the age of 10, 98% of children have seen online pornography. All of our statistics come from guardchild.com, so you guys can go fact check that.
Check your kids' devices and open communication with your child. An FB group that we highly recommend is called An App a Day That Keeps the Sickos Away. On this Facebook page, Brandy, the owner, goes over all of the social media apps and games and makes awareness to the flaws in how predators target your child through each of the apps.
So one of our future goals are to change the laws so that pedophile hunting groups like ours can accomplish more arrests by working alongside law enforcement. Only a fraction of all of our internet episodes are ever reported. I mean, I'm not that of ours, but anything that happens over the internet. If you want more information or to follow our pedophile hunts, you can check us out on our webpage.
Thank you, Camp True Light, for having us join this coalition. We look forward to working with your group in the near future.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this information with us. Remember, guys, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, stop the conversation, block the profile, and always let a trusted adult know what's going on. Don't share your locations. Turn those location services off on apps. Turn off this location service on your camera. When you're taking pictures and taking videos, doing videos, and you're posting them online, predators can come through the back end and up your location, your exact location where you were when you made that video or took that picture. Let's talk now about how to identify trafficking. So we're going to review some red flags of sex trafficking. Victims appear to have very inconsistent stories, failure to make eye contact. They may be teased by another student for being sexually active or a prostitute. And tattoos. New high-end clothes recently purchased. This could be a kid that you know couldn't afford it, and all of a sudden this changes. Dressed appropriately for the weather. They have lots of hotel keys, rolls of money, prepaid credit cards and gift cards, phones. Those little throwaway phones, it's not normal to have like 3 or 4 of those. Multiple social media accounts that you may see them with 2 or 3 Facebook accounts, and they're actively posting on them. In-depth knowledge of the streets. I've been talking to you a little bit about some street language. Very important to listen to young people talk. And in a controlling relationship. And most victims do not have possession of their own money or ID. And remember, it's anyone that you see that's forced into prostitution. Red flags for labor trafficking, sorry. It's the same thing, they avoid eye contact. They appear very malnourished, exhausted, and they have untreated injuries. They don't have a vehicle. And if you're looking at a business, you'll notice that there's not a lot of vehicles for the employees. And you may notice that they're all being transported in one vehicle like a van. Some of them don't speak English and they're not even aware of their surroundings. They repeatedly are working long hours with no days off or time off. See them wearing dirty clothes, the same clothes over and over. Personal items, wallets, purses, backpacks, cell phones. The employer may answer questions for the employee, or their questions seem very rehearsed. Very fearful of their supervisor. Also, they may just appear that they're looking for everything and dependent on everything from this employer. Not allowed to leave their workplace without severe consequences. Just to work off a high debt. Victims many times do not self-identify. If you were to pick up on these red flags and you were to ask a victim if they were a victim of trafficking, no, for many reasons. Some don't even know that they're being trafficked. Only the ones that may have been in the system somewhere, and they may know that they've been trafficked. Otherwise, what they know is they're being forced, sold, watched, coached. Also, they may not because they're afraid, they're being threatened. Trafficking them is threatening them or threatening their families. There have been victims that were rescued. And when they were rescued, notes were found on them, on their person, and any kind of belongings they may have had, even in their shoes. Notes were threats from their trafficker. They are constantly reminded of the threats. Or master manipulators. They use violence and they deprive people of their basic necessities. Manipulation to get people to believe that they love them. They use control. They restrict contact with family and friends. They limit their freedom. They control their identification, like we talked earlier. They threaten them even with law enforcement. And many victims that have been rescued have been known to run back to the trafficker or abuser. And a lot of times it's out of fear. They're going to find them and make good on all those threats. Or it's because they've built a bond with that trafficker. So to understand this effect, the effect that this type of manipulation can have on a person, we have here Holly to talk to us.
Thank you. All right, now I'm going to share some things about trauma bonding and how to identify and possibly overcome this. Or, maybe just a person you're trying to understand why this person keeps going back, and it could be related to trafficking. This also could be related to any kind of domestic violence or abuse from anyone, friends, family, partners. So it's something, it is very valid feeling to be in a relationship with someone for a long time and or somehow be in this relationship or dependent on this person for a long time, and over that period of time it ends up building up what is called a trauma bond with their abuser. So most of the time, if you ever hear someone from a survivor story, was their abuser was not always bad, Or they will say stuff like, they were perfect or wonderful 90% of the time. And it was just 10% of the time where they did these things to me. Or they provided everything I needed, so it was okay that they did this to me. These are all signs of someone being in a trauma bond with a person. So this actually enables their behavior to be able to escalate and continue over time. And most of the time, like we just mentioned, was it doesn't happen all the time. So that way it continues to build up to where they have the control over the person so that they can break that bond that they may have with their family who actually loves them in order to keep them around. So that's how the traffickers do this same thing. They will build a bond up with them. So what is this? The science behind trauma bonding, it is really, and the easiest way to actually describe this is basically someone who is addicted to that person. And if you all know, if you've ever been around someone or possibly a person who used to do drugs or something, it is just as much as addicting as a drug. This actually, when you're in love with someone, or you have a love hormone, or someone's providing you everything you need, it could be finances, it could be clothing, it could be food, it could be your housing. When they're providing the things you need to you, this provides oxytocin to your brain, which releases the hormone, and it causes you to be happy and feel loved. And that's what every person needs in life. And what happens with a trauma bond is actually that person will produce all the oxytocin that a person will need right after they abuse them or get them to do whatever they want them to do. Like, for instance, sex trafficking, they'll make them do whatever they want them to do, and they'll be like, oh, if you do that, I'll buy your clothes for you. Or if you go and send me this picture, I'll do whatever you need me to do. These are a part of the brain that is now triggering these, and these actually causes like a drug addiction to the brain, because you're first releasing what is called cortisol, and then it releases into your brain. Once it releases into your brain, then it overflows, and it can cause a lot of different things behind the actual in the brain. It can cause a lot of impacts, such as high blood pressure, anxiety. It can cause your immune system to be susceptible to more illnesses. You can also get like physical marks from an overproduction of cortisol, which like wrinkles and stuff, early ages, things like that, because your body is trying to overproduce something because someone's been abusing you. So it actually releases more into the brain. This does also cause people after to have things that they have to deal with for a long time, that suffers from PTSD. This can cause flashbacks, depression, and a repeated trauma will impact you in a serious way over the period of your life. If you've ever had someone that was abused and then the next week you are like, why are you back with them? This is the reason. And sometimes they literally may even not remember, because it also does cause short-term memory loss. So the person may not remember all this stuff because they've literally blocked it out and they just don't remember it. So this is something that can cause a lot of concerns and stuff for in these cases. And if you don't know anything about it, it is something you definitely want to learn about if you have someone around you that may be going through this. If you have someone that is going through domestic violence, you're like, why do you keep going back? Why do you keep going back? This may be their issue. Learn about it. Try and teach them about it. I personally had to, and still am, going through this myself and have to overcome it on an everyday basis with different things. I find myself getting really high anxiety around a lot of people. This can be the same for a lot of people. I still love to be surrounded by a lot of people now. I am like, okay, if it's like a lot of people close to me, I start getting high anxiety. This is something that a lot of people may go through. A lot of people, especially coming out of things like sex trafficking, they don't want to be around a lot of people. They're scared to be a lot of people because they don't know who is who and who could be there to take them back or something like that. And that even is for victims of domestic violence. They are like, oh no, where he could be here, he could be there. You never know, or she, it could be a woman too. They are always looking over their shoulder, and this is something you have to build over and over again to keep yourself strong and overcome. You have to find different ways to help you overcome your trauma bond if you personally have one. We've seen a lot of people that like to first thing you have to do is cut the negative self-talk and have positive self-truths to yourself every day. Be positive to yourself, because one thing a abuser will do is break you down to nothing, and make sure that you feel like you are nothing, so that way you believe everything they tell you. So you have to start realizing that you do the same thing, because they will make you do it to yourself. Oh, I'm dumb, or this and that, because of the stuff you do. These are not true. You need to be positive self-truth so that you can start believing those things, in order to remember that everything they told you and all the lies they told you in order to keep you there were in fact that lies. We have to also find something that you like to do. Find people that care about you, your friends and family. You know, if you have someone that's dealing with this, you need to be there for that person, even as hard as it may be. After they keep going back, you have to keep trying to be there for them. Don't turn your back on them, because then that is the whole abuser's goal. They're hoping that everybody will turn their back on them and leave them to nothing, so that they can do whatever they want to them. So be there for that person. Try and find out about it. Learn about it. I had to learn about it to figure out what I had myself. So learn about it to help someone else, because you may be able to identify signs and realize that someone around you is going through something that you had no idea about just because you learned about something new. Also, one thing about all of this social media dating and stuff, I know we are mentioning about kids, but we're all out here on there doing social media. Even us adults, we have to be careful in learning how to identify what healthy relationships are, even if you are social media dating. Since it is the new way to do things, you guys just want to make sure you are being safe, whether you're a child, whether you're a grown adult. Make sure that you're being safe and keeping all of these practices and learning how to identify what a healthy relationship is, an unhealthy relationship, and an abusive relationship is, because these are ways to help you keep a little bit of a checklist to identify some of the things that may be off. Because if they do any of those signs, from an unhealthy to an abusive relationship, I cut it off, whether it's a friendship, a family member, or a relationship at this point, because I'm too afraid to end up back into a situation that I was once in, that I was very hard to get out of. So make sure if they're giving you all those signs, that they're communicating with you, they're respectful, trusting, honest, equal, enjoying personal time away from each other, making mutual choices, sharing things like financial. If you guys have an agreement, who pays bills, who don't, those are agreements. If you don't have an agreement to give your money up, then that's not an agreement. You have the right to keep your own money. So whether it's a relationship or in just life, so make sure that you are identifying those and staying safe. Like I said, whether you're a grown woman, this can happen to you. Whether you're a grown man, this can happen to you. So, or a child. So let's try and help identify those situations, maybe learn some things, help some children, help some adults. And I found it very, very, very awesome to learn about the trauma bonding. So, and we're all here. Other people are here. Everybody has a story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly, for sharing that with us tonight. Please, if you know someone who is struggling with the things that Holly talked to us about, please don't give up on them. They need your love and support. It is not easy. And the trafficker or abuser is counting on everyone to give up on them. It only supports their plan to isolate and control that person. So let's talk about how to get help. We're going to post up a number for domestic violence. You can even dial that 211. We have the National Human Trafficking Hotline number up. You can text if you need help. You can text help to be free. And there is trained people on the other end that's ready to help you. Please let a trusted adult know what's going on. If you run into a situation on social media or online and it doesn't feel right, follow your gut and let someone know. If you're with us now and you're thinking, how can I help? How can I get involved? The number one thing is pray. We all need to be praying over victims and the victims that are out there, praying over our children and all the young people in our lives. Pray for the people that are fighting human trafficking. Pray for the healing of the victims. Keep your eyes open in the community. Report suspicious activity. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline. They say they don't even care if you're right. If you see something or you hear something that doesn't sound right, report it. Remain completely anonymous. You can also, we posted up the number that you can also post an anonymous tip online right to the Homeland Security. We've also posted the number to the National Missing and Exploited Children's Hotline. If you see any abuse material, anything that doesn't look right online, report it. It could be on Facebook. Wherever you see this, we really need to be standing up. Remember when I told you that victims don't have a voice? We need to look at situations, look at family, look at friends connected with our own children. Look with a clarity and report things. Be that safe person for someone. Is you enough to tell you that something's wrong or something's happened to them? Believe them. Make sure that you stand up and you help them. We've given you the tools and the numbers to reach out for help. If for any chance you need support, reaching out to resources and to get help, please contact us. We exist to serve you. If you need us, we're here. Please remember, never approach a suspected trafficker. Remember what I told you in the beginning? They live by that motto, MOE, it's money over everything. If you would like any more information on anything that you heard tonight, because with the time that we have, we're just scratching the surface and giving you basic information on human trafficking. If you would like copies of the red flags, information to talk to your youth, posters, copies of that National Human Trafficking number, please you can reach us at contactus@camptruelight.com. If you have a group of people, an organization, a church that you would like to host a free awareness event, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to come and share some information with you. Our presentations are always relevant to in the communities. If you'd like to help us spread awareness, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Clapper, TikTok, Twitch, and I know I'm getting these wrong, so my technical officer is saying, wait a minute, and YouTube. So if you would like to know more about us and how you can help, please visit us at www.camptruelight.com. An appreciation for you attending. We would like to raffle off some awareness t-shirts, and our plans did change. We've posted a registration link in social media. You can put your name in there, and we will start that raffle right away. I think Lee's going to come help us spin the wheel. Everyone.
Well, thank you, Penny, for letting me use your workspace here. We'll give it a couple more minutes just in case we have some more names that we can add. But it's looking good, looking good. All right. We'll give it about 10 more seconds here. All right, let's go ahead and click the button. Let's see who our first winner is. Well, our first winner is Trafficking. Congratulations, you're our first winner. Just send us your address and your size, and to contact us at camptruelight.com, and we will mail that right out to you. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Jennifer Daniel. Congratulations, Jennifer. Likewise, contact us at camptruelight.com with your address and your size, and we'll send one right out to you. Kyle Horton. Okay, we're running low on time, so Kenner Dewey. Leslie Rose. And Leslie.
Woo!
Camille Jones. And Ricker.
All right, all right, all right.
All right. right, last spin. Okay, the Arizona Predator.
Oh, Savannah.
Okay, now for all those who have won, please email us at contactus@camptruelight.com. Put in your address and put in the size. This will not be going to anybody but us, so we will not be showing or sharing or selling your information. This is just so you can get your t-shirts. We appreciate you joining us. Now, we have a question and answer time.
This is Stephanie from Pop Global. I also just want to throw out there that another team like ours that does an amazing work is Arizona Predator Prevention. She was the one that just won on the wheel. She does exactly what we do.
Sorry, you guys, we're rolling around here. So we are so happy for all the people that won, and we're so excited. Both teams are available if anyone has any questions for us. Things kind of changed when we had to just go live on Facebook and live stream on the platforms. But we are so excited that you joined us.
Hey, I've got a question.
Okay.
This is, it was disturbing to hear that you couldn't get enough law enforcement to really work with you guys when you have the evidence, and that's really something that might need to be looked into. The first thing that came to my mind was Homeland Security Blue campaign, but you guys know best, but that's definitely something that should be looked at.
Yes, we agree totally. And we abide by all the entrapment laws as well. So whenever they do turn us down, it's really disappointing because we work really hard and we use a lot of mental energy to try and do everything right. So when they turn us away, it's like, it's you guys and everybody blasting them that really makes it worth it in the end, because I mean, it's so hard to get arrests out of it.
Although you guys have been successful and you've had a couple of arrests, but I am totally, I think the ones of us that are out there fighting this, we need to come together. Just like Ricker had said earlier, it's one voice, and we need to work together and as a coalition and see what we can get changed and how we can get more arrests and more notice. Whatever we need to do, change the laws. I know that's something that they're working on right now that is really huge for me, is minors are still being arrested for prostitution. So we won't go into too much of that, but there's a lot of things. So we do need people out there praying and people are coming together, and we need to join that voice and change things.
I would also like to add something on the tail end of that, and that is that most people aren't aware of how big of a problem this is. That includes law enforcement. Okay, so even the U.S. Marshal Service, who just recently, a few months ago, started a division in their agency to combat this, wasn't aware of how big it was until they started forming the department. And a lot of grants out there to help educate police departments and governors across the United States are really pushing it at the state level down into law enforcement. So we're starting to see a big change into how much assistance. We're not just out there alone anymore. You know, it's really starting to flip over this.
I have something I'd like to share. I have a full-time job. This is what I do when I'm not at work full-time. I believe with all my heart about saving the children. It's affected me just like each and every one of you. What I do full-time is I'm a government contract consultant. You are 100% correct. I deal with corporations all over the country that are trying to get registered in the system for awards management so they can get their grant money. I actually have the award history from previous contracts. I actually searched out just Friday before leaving work the word human trafficking, and money is being spent, and I do see it, and you're 100% correct.
Well, in that case, you'll probably see us come across.
We have a question here on Facebook. The question is if we're aware of any organizations that help the parents of victims and help them, probably help the healing of their child that's a victim and things like that.
Absolutely. There are resources that are for the parents and for the child. So if anyone needs more information about that, they can certainly reach out to us at contact us at camptruelight.com, and we will forward that information to them. But absolutely, and that's something that I skipped over when I was saying we need to pray. We need to remember these parents that are being reunited with these children that were held captive, because it is very hard on the parents as well. And it's traumatic when they're looking and searching for their child. So yes, absolutely. Please let us know if you need to be connected to those resources.
Is there any more questions?
I don't see any coming through on this, but I don't know if there's anything on social media. But again, if you think of something later and you would like more information or just some resources or support, we're here for you, and we would love to work with you and help you and support you in any way. Everyone for being here and your participation. And so excited about some of you guys that are out there that we're going to join forces with and keep on working and going forward. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night.
One last thing to Rickard. He said that he does this while he's off his regular job. I like to tell people at work that that's my side work. This is my real job. I'm sorry I cut you off there, Lexi.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was distracted for a second there. I just really wanted to thank Penny for allowing us to be here. And all of you guys are awesome. Every single one of you in this group right now. Saving the children, the Arizona Predators. Like, thank you guys for wanting to join and make a real change in the world, you know?
I'm real excited about this.
Absolutely. And I will send you guys emails and we'll put a date together so that we can get together if you guys are all in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We're so excited. And thank you, everyone. I know that on both teams, you guys have worked so hard on the back end. So thank you so much, everyone, for all your hard work. You guys have a good night.
You too, Penny.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.